Big love and unity from the Dubb. How's everybody feeling out there? This is the Dubbcast. Shouting out to you live from the South End. We're here to raise the vibrations. It's a special show today. We got brother Pato Banton on, reggae legend, superstar, one of the top greatest of all times. So I hope everybody's going to enjoy the show today. There's a special Dubbcast number 29. Hope you're feeling good out there. The Selah Dubbcast is brought to you by Carl Headley Surf. Check them out at carlheadley.com. Everything from 10-foot longboards to pocket thrusters, all handmade by Carl himself in Emerald Isle. Check them out at carlheadleysurf.com. All right, let's get on with the show. Straight from California, the reggae legend himself, Pato Banton, is here. Let's bring him on. All right. How you doing, Pato?
I'm doing good, my brother.
Yeah, good bro.
Long time.
How's life out west?
Good. All is blessed.
All is blessed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys getting back to work a little bit?
Yeah. Well, we never really stopped working. During the whole pandemic and quarantine, we've been in the recording studio, working on new music. I've been producing Antoinette Rootstarter's new album. Also working on some new ideas myself. And been doing music videos, video production, and also movie editing. I've got the full 5-camera setup now, so I'm doing a lot of filming and editing and production work. I just did some work for the Italian Federation of Baseball and Softball. Just edited 40 videos for them.
Oh, wow.
And did Italian translations to English, English translations to Italian, interviewed Baseball Hall of Famer Mike Piazza as well. Flew to Miami to interview him and film him and edit the video. So yeah, I've been busy and learning new things too.
How cool. My grandfather's from Abruzzi, from Italy. So.
Oh, nice.
Very interesting. How cool. So yeah, since we haven't been playing a lot of live shows, we've gotten a chance to develop our studio skills. So that's been good. Yeah. I've been doing the same kind of thing here, and it's kind of been good because both me and you have been on the run for a good 10 or 20 years, and you don't get a lot of produced stuff. So even though the pandemic has been whatever, we've turned our lemons into lemonade, and
that's right.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing some of your new productions. I heard one of the songs from Antoinette. That was really cool. You got that out on Facebook, a little jam she did. So that's gonna be really cool. That might be a big hit for sure. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for getting on the show here, the Dubbcast. You are the biggest guest I could ever possibly have. And Pato, you are a great friend to everybody here on the South Coast here. We about 10 years ago, we just called you out of the blue and said, come jam, do some shows. And we weren't really good at managing or doing that kind of stuff, but you just kind of came out of the goodness of your heart and did the first run up and down the little coast here. And we have a great reggae scene here, and you made a huge impact. And we just want to thank you. That really made a big impact on our whole reggae scene. You came back and did a few more shows, and I know it wasn't the biggest glamour style show because we live more in the country, but man, you really turned it out, and you taught us a lot. Getting to watch, going on the road with you for 4 days, got to learn a lot and see your band in full action. And there's a big difference between the regular local bands, and then when you get with a band that's international, top 10 bands in the world, there's just a whole difference on how you do the production, how you mix the sound, how you get your players going, and the professionalism rubbed off on me. I took that energy for 10 years later, went all over the place. So we want to thank you for that.
Nice.
And I just want to chat with you because I never had a chance to. And I want to talk to you because I don't think you really realize, but I started listening to you in days of like the Special Beat service, the days of Rankin Roger. I was probably in 6th or 7th grade, and my bigger brother was getting into all the punk rock and stuff. And he threw me like these little albums from the Specials and from all that, all the English beat and all that stuff. And then you were on that one track, and I just was listening to you when I was a very young child. That was instrumental in my becoming a Rastaman, making reggae music. As I, came into high school, I started playing reggae in high school and started my music in the late 80s. And I was so inspired by you, and you don't even realize that. So anyways, I just want to talk with you about your history and everything. You grew up in Birmingham, England, I guess in the 60s and 70s. And your family came from Jamaica?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And you lived in a little Jamaican community. Is that what Birmingham was?
Yeah, Birmingham was a predominantly white community or city. But when the Jamaicans moved to England, most of them went to London. And a few of them, emigrated north to the northern cities. Birmingham was one of those cities. So we had a small Jamaican community, and Caribbean, because there was people from other islands there too. But our house, because my dad was a DJ, my stepdad was a DJ from Jamaica, and he had his own sound system. Our house became the community party house on the weekend for the community to come together, because we didn't have anywhere else to get together, It was a very racist environment, so we suffered a lot from the violence from, the police and the community, but we survived it. And we had a place that we could come together on the weekends to listen to music and forget about our problems.
You have the block parties.
Yeah.
How cool. That's real history. And you grew up around, Steel Pulse and all that kind of stuff was going on. Was that before you?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah, Steel Pulse was a little bit, only a few years. They started a few years before I started, but in real terms, I started before them, because my dad's parties started when I was 8, and I was the security guard for the party at the age of 8. I used to open the door, close the door, make sure there was no trouble outside, keep an eye out for the police, because they would come and raid us sometimes. So I would keep an eye out for the police, keep the door locked, and make sure no one was ransacking the rest of the house, because the party was downstairs. So I had to keep an eye out on all angles. And that's how I got my name, because, my name was Patrick, but I was small. I was 8 years old, and I was always small for my age anyway. So my dad said to me one night, my stepdad said to me, "You know something, you're small, but you're wise. So I'm going to call you a Pato." And in Jamaica, a Pato is a small owl that comes out at night and goes, "Pato, Pato, Pato." So I became the Pato, the lookout for my dad's late night parties. And then by the age of 11, maybe 3 years later, I was on the sound system spinning the records. And then I started going on the microphone when U-Roy and I-Roy started making music. I was on the microphone imitating U-Roy and I-Roy.
Really?
Yeah. And this was right when reggae music was only just starting. Yeah. I was actually spinning records before there was any such thing as reggae. It was blue beat and rock steady, and the records were made of metal before vinyl, and the speed was 78 was the speed on the turntable. And then
that's incredible.
Later it turned into vinyl and 45s.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
What
So
history?
I witnessed the whole evolution of reggae, you know, as a
You
child.
really did.
Yes, I
And
did.
did you get to see Bob Marley, or did you get the chance, or was that just something that was
I
not
missed
not
my
accessible?
opportunity. I missed my opportunity to see Bob. But
Yeah.
actually, I had a long talk to Bob Marley last night. He was in my dreams last night. And
Yeah?
we had a very, very long conversation. It's not the first time. And I don't know why it happens, because I don't like dream about Bob Marley during the day. You know, I'm not really playing his music that much, but there are certain times where he has come to me in my dreams so vividly. And we was actually sitting down on the grass in a park, having a long conversation in my dream last night. And, you know, he was basically telling me, I told him I wanted to do a tribute album to him. And he didn't like the idea. He was like, you know, no, man, do your music, man. Do your original music. Enough people to tribute to me already. You know, just do your music. So, and
Truth.
it was an amazing conversation, you know. And me and him was talking about Ziggy and different things too. So, you know, Bob Marley definitely has played a big influence in my life through the music, and along with, you know, many other legends who
Yeah.
started the music, like Toots and the Itals, you know, Israel Vibrations, Fred Lux, you know, the list goes on and on. You know, Yellow
Yeah.
Man, Eka
Yeah.
Mouse, you know, all of
Oh
these
yeah.
Jamaican artists are so amazing, and they've all played a big influence on my life at some stage. So I've got so much to be grateful for. But you know, I did when I was just launching my career, I was invited to Italy to do to Europe to do a tour with Jimmy Cliff, the I3s and the Wailers, and
Wow.
um, and Ziggy and the kids when before they all went off in their different directions. And we did a TV show in Italy, and they asked me and Jimmy Cliff to come and perform, and they asked the I3s and the Wailers band to back me and Jimmy Cliff. So, you know, that was an experience that I'll never forget, you know.
Oh, I bet.
Amazing experience having the I3s right beside me and the Wailers behind me and Jimmy Cliff on my left, and I'm
Oh my
singing and
gosh.
dancing and dancing. I was just in heaven.
Wow. And those people are on a different plane energy wise. I played
Yeah,
shows with Jimmy Cliff and the Wailers, and back in the day when I'd open up for everybody, and they just are on a different plane. Like Jimmy
yeah,
Cliff would just hang out, and you got the legend, you know, who's one of the top legends right there. But he's just such a humble, incredible singer, you know. So what an incredible experience that must have been,
yeah,
man. And Bob Marley in my heart is like, you know, he was the soul man that took me from a young child to now. Like that's really where my career comes from. And when you talk about that, it's funny because sometimes on stage I'll get in a moment where it's just right and the crowd's right and everything's right, and all of a sudden I'll just feel like Bob Marley comes into me. It's only happened a
yeah.
few times, but he'll like just jump in, I feel like, and just experience it because he
Uh-huh.
gets a chance to jump in you. I don't know, and just like be there
Yeah,
with the music with you for a second. So
yes,
I know that feeling
yes. I've had
for
that
sure.
feeling.
Anyways, so I want to get into a little more. So you grew up into that time when you were doing all that music, the Rankin Roger and all that, and then
Mhm.
there was the whole rock against racism and all that going on, the Clash and Steel Pulse. Everybody kind of unified at that time, and you
Yes.
were kind of involved in that. So did you go to London at that time, or were you still in Birmingham, just traveling
Well,
down?
Steel Pulse was in Birmingham.
Okay.
Rankin Roger and the Beat were in Birmingham.
Oh, okay. It was all there.
UB40 was in Birmingham.
Okay.
So when all of this black and white unification started, it started in Birmingham. So
Yeah.
I was right there with all of them. And I used to, when I started working for my dad, I became a DJ in my own right and started playing my own DJ shows late at night. And many times UB40 would come in and Steel Pulse and the Beat, and I'd be performing for them. And that's how I got my introduction to them, because they came and would stay watching me all night, performing, spinning records and chatting on the versions, on the B-sides.
Yeah.
And that's how, I got introduced to UB40, and they asked me to come to their studio. My first reggae band came to one of my sessions and asked me if I would be their MC. And when I went to go and audition for the band, the lead singer had to leave the city, so I became the lead singer and the MC at the same time. And then, same thing with Rankin Roger and the Beat. So yeah, I was right there with them in Birmingham. And then once my career launched is when I went to London, where I was originally born. And when I went to London, I ended up hooking with Mad Professor and Tipper Irie, Greensleeves Record, Fashion Records, Island Records. Everybody wanted to sign me, and it was a great time. But yeah,
it was hot, man.
It was hot. And it was at that time when black and white musicians came together and started playing music together, which totally broke the racist agenda that was going on.
And I'll tell you what it did for me. See, I was a little kid hearing that. I was 6th, 7th grade. I was like, what, no older than 12, 13 as a little musician. And I saw this unification and this mixture of reggae and rock and punk and the Police and the Clash and all that rock against racism. That kind of made me very, I hate the word, it might sound weird now, but very colorblind, and never to really see race as a big deal because everyone was fighting against it so hard. I was like, okay, that for my whole generation of the little punk skate kids, we just became kind of colorblind, our whole generation, and made just eclectic music all the way down the line. And you guys paved the way for us to here in North Carolina and a little Southeast, just to be able to do it kind of whatever we wanted. We can make some reggae, we can make some punk rock. It wasn't, because this is kind of a very segregated area, and it was like, white guys can't play reggae, or black guys can't play punk rock, but our little section of people all mixed together in the same way, and we had black and white people all joining together, and bands like the Bad Brains coming in that were punk rock, but they were black. And then we had our band Sloppy Joe, which was like ska, and we were all white, so all this kind of mixtures, we were like the UB40 of our little area. So I kind of just wanted to talk with you about that, and let you know how much you and your little world of music came down, trickled down to us. And that's really where my career came from that, So anyways, as you get into those years, getting into the late 80s, you ended up starting to become a real star. You made that second album that had No Stiff, No Coke, and it had
Never Give In.
Never Give In, which Never Give In was the #1 hit of all. And then that was a big influence to all of us in the we became full on, like, it was like you were going to play reggae or you're not. So we like kind of really switched over, and that album was a big effect on how we're going to do our style. So anyways, then you worked with Sting, like not with Sting, you worked with UB40 and did that kind of like, it was almost like you did some throwback music with UB40. What was that song? Baby Come Back.
Baby Come Back. Well, the first songs I did with them was on their Bag of Rhythm album, and I did a song called King Step, and then I did King Step, Hip Hop Lyrical Robot, Nice Up the Session, and then 10 years later we was in the studio again working on an Eddie Grant song called Baby Come Back, and that went straight to #1 in the British charts for 4 weeks in a row.
Oh, so that was Eddie Grant.
Yeah, it was Eddie Grant's song, yeah.
Okay.
So he got all the money from that song. It sold 30 million copies, and he got all the money.
He was smart.
Yeah.
He signed the right papers first, I guess.
That's right.
Well, if you look back on all that, you were instrumental in influencing hip hop, really, because with you, Roy, and the Toasters of the time, and then you coming through, when Kool Herc and who was some of the other guys that came through, African Moombata. You know,
Yeah.
they came into the Brooklyn scene,
Yeah.
but they came from Jamaica, you know, and so
Yes.
you were kind of instrumental in bringing the rap in. I think really you could say that hip hop was derivative of where your little time, that
Yes.
little transition, you know,
Era.
right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so you can almost say you were a big influence on hip hop, you know, in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. Very interesting indeed. And through the 90s, you became more international. Did you come to America then or Canada?
Yes. Yes. During the 90s is when I really started touring the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, I came to America a lot and Canada and everywhere. Brazil.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
All around the world. And
Yeah.
then I guess 9/11 came along. That kind of slowed everything down, huh?
Yes, it did. Yes, it
There
did.
was there was 9/11 and Napster, and everything was turned
Yeah.
upside down.
Yeah.
And you had to become like kind of a live act, I guess, full time at that point.
Yeah. Because I actually came from the dance hall and the sound systems. And at
Yeah.
some point, I had to make a serious decision. Did I want to continue down this path, or did I want to put a band together and become a live artist? And I decided that I'd have more longevity if I became a
Yeah.
live artist and took on a band, you know?
And that was like a whole new life.
Yeah, totally.
Because you have how many members in your band? 10?
At that time, yes, there was 10, you know?
Yeah.
One of my biggest shows was in San Diego. I think I had 13 musicians on stage, 13 or 14 musicians on stage, 4-piece horn section, backing singers, guitar, bass, drums, percussion, steel pan player. Wow, keyboards. Amazing show.
I bet. That's a lot to manage, though.
Yeah.
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 All over the world. Amazing. So, how many albums have you made since you've been a live performer with a live band?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I've made about 12 recorded albums, and then there's maybe more live albums and EPs, you know, but it's been quite a few. It's been quite a few.
Because those albums are different, in my opinion. They're more, I think, up the alley of where you were headed and what you were thinking. I think the other stuff is kind of produced for you to toast on top of and stuff like that. But these, I got a few of those albums, and it's in a direction where it's like really geared around your sound and what you're doing, and your band is like one of the greatest bands in the world. Honestly, that's no joke. Like the way you put it together, you do not let anybody in there that's not world class. And so, I mean, I'm literally looking forward to hearing the next recording you got going on for sure.
Nice.
We have this one recording that still sticks in the E Club in their sound system. It's got 3 of your songs on there, and one is like you did a throwback to beach music. What was that song you did?
Groovin'.
Groovin'.
Was it Groovin'?
Yeah, yeah. And let me tell you, since we're here in the world of beach, we live in the world where beach music came up. So that song sits on that DJ's. They used to play it like every weekend for 10 years. Like every time I'd be there, that song they play it on some little reggae. So you made a big impact on that little E Club when you came through. Your mix was in there for a long time, and that song is interesting to me because do you remember Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs?
I remember that name. Yes.
Yeah, that song "Stay."
Yes.
He was my manager for a little while. He had like a little studio in Charlotte. He helped me do putting together some stuff here and there and some recordings, and he got me on the Chitlin circuit. He was like, "You need to get off opening up for all the big reggae bands because you're not gonna get anywhere. You're just gonna keep opening up and be the opening band." He's like, "So you need to go out and get your own venues." And he he got me into all the beach towns where he did. He's like, "You need to go to Myrtle Beach and Wrightsville Beach and all." And he's like, "Go get some restaurants and go set up in the corner like we did." And so we just found restaurants and set up in the corner, and that's really how the last 15 years was me doing those shows and building up from that. And so every time I hear that song, I just think of the beach music. It's really funny that you do that throwback, So anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is your message, your spiritual message, we haven't really gotten into that, but I really feel like you're almost you're a messenger, and you're like a light worker, and you're here to bring a unity to all tribes almost, and a one love message. And so can you just tell us a little bit about your message and kind of your ministry, I guess, basically, that you're in right now, and your goals here for the next few years, and just tell us your message and your ministry and what your vibe is, you know?
So ultimately, you know, the message is that we are all God's children, brothers and sisters, and to get people to not just see that as a intellectual, philosophical, theoretical idea, but to actually embrace the concept that I am actually a son or a daughter of God. And by embracing that reality, I have to recognize that every other person on this planet and in this universe are also my relatives, because we all share the same heavenly parent or parents. So ultimately, this is my message, is to try to get people to realize that we have so much more in common than the differences we share. And to get people to have confidence in their relationship with God, not to see God as the most distant thing in the universe, but to also recognize that, yes, God is the most distant person in the universe, but God is also the closest person to us, as God lives within us, you know? And the importance behind spiritual unity, you know, we don't have to believe the same thing. You know, you can be any religion you want. You can have no religion, you know, you can even be an agnostic or even an atheist, but we can still be family. We can still be united in our diversity. We can still show each other love and respect. And we can recognize that this world needs a change. You know, there's so many problems in this world that can only be changed if we come together as a human family and work together in harmony to bring about those changes. So that's my main message. You know, I'm still reading this book called the Urantia book, you know, which is a source of inspiration to me. And I teach it twice a week. And I also do a children's class every Tuesday afternoon at 12 noon. I teach children internationally. And my main mission, you know, to be on the road, we start touring again next month. And I think I've already booked about 20 something shows in July, because we're trying to do a tour that is free to the public. We want to do outdoor shows from San Diego all the way to Washington, the state of Washington, and do outdoor free concerts for people to break free of this COVID pandemic quarantine and come out and celebrate life again, you know?
Come out and breathe.
Come out and breathe and celebrate life on the ocean, and, you know, and remember your priorities, you know? So that's the mission right now.
Well, your mission is crucial for humanity right now, is what I think. If we don't come together and we don't wise up, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know? So, well, Pato, I want to thank you. We're going to end it with that, because that is so deep and so special. This has been the most special interview I could possibly do, and I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
I just want to close by saying thank you, my brother, because
thank you. We love you and Antoinette.
You have given me some great experiences on the East Coast, and you never hesitated to support me and to try and make things work when we needed some help in those regions. So I have the utmost love and respect for you and your family and your crew, and I hope to see you in the near future.
Me too. We will see you in the near future. We're going to be coming your way, and hopefully you can come our way, and we'll spread the vibes for sure, brother. Yes, I want to record a track with you. Like a few seconds, we get together and toast something real quick.
Let's do it.
All right. So you enjoy your afternoon. Stay on the line. I'm gonna close out, but I just want to talk to you for about 2 seconds. And that is Pato Banton, Big Love and Unity from the Dubb. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. That was the most special interview for sure. Please like and subscribe. Throw us a comment. Let us know what you think. And spread the message of Pato Banton. One love and unity. That's right. Big love and unity from the Dubb. We'll talk to you on the next one. Thank you.
Bless it.
Thank you, Pato.
Nice one.
Peace in this way.